I grew up in New York City and it's ever evolving, it's electrifying, it's different, just like me. I mean, you take that energy from the city and it just shapes you into the person you are today. There was a time in New York City where it was all fine dining, you know, and now you have fine dining chefs who are going more into fine casual, or, you know, what we do, which is slow casual. The best quote that I ever heard about food was my first day in culinary school. Food is a living art. It's constantly evolving and changing. You can make the best dish in the world today, and I can come and add one ingredient that'll just take it over the edge. So take your ego and just throw it out the door. Because if you're not learning, then it's not worth it. Going to culinary school in my 30s, it gave me a different perspective. It gave me a different way of looking at things. Because if I was in my 20s, I probably wouldn't have taken it this serious. You know, you're still in your 20s, you're fucking around, you're in New York City. You have all this freedom and liberty and there's so much to explore. I think going in my 30s was a good thing because I mean, I really focused and applied myself to learning. I wanted to learn everything. I got to work with so many different chefs from all over the world. And I got to work in our pantry where we had all these ingredients and things that I've never seen before. The first time I saw sumac, I'm like, what the hell is this? Or mace. And then reading about it, learning about it, and talking to people that actually produce it. And I mean, there was all this knowledge at my fingertips, and I got to hang out with these guys all the time and then cook with them. So I thought it was the right time. Everything happens for a reason, and I went into culinary school at the right time of my life. So a lot of people ask me why Filipino food? And the answer is simple. Filipino women, okay? It's always been the reason that I got involved into it. You know, I met my partner years ago. She wanted to open up a Filipino restaurant. I was basically like everybody else in the world. It's like, yeah, you know, when I was 19, I knew a girl who was Filipino and she made lumpia for me. Or, you know, it's usually like 7 degrees of separation. It's like I went to school with a girl who had a cousin who dated a Filipino and we had adobo. So I didn't know much about the cuisine. For me, it was exciting. I'm like, here's a whole nother way of looking at cuisine that I'm not familiar with. So it was easy for me to get into cannabis cooking because here's a whole nother world of ingredients that I am not familiar with that I can put into food. From waxes to tinctures to distillates to flour, waxes, shatter, resin, live resin, hash, keef, everything, okay? Everything that you could possibly think of. In the last year, working with 99th Floor, things have evolved. I mean, we have a new technology which makes it easier to dose the way that I want to dose. We have better control over how much medicine we're giving to people, which takes the guessing game out. So it's a lot of fun because now I can play around with other things and make sure that they're not too strong. Our line is coming along. I wake up with ideas. My kitchen, there's a big, like one wall is just painted chalk. So I wake up in the middle of the night or whenever I get an idea, I just jot it down and start breaking down the elements of how I'm gonna put it together. It's a constant evolution, you know? You're finding more and more out about cannabis every day, different cannabinoids, terpenes and flavor profiles, textures, single origin, so to speak. You know, people that are growing and crossbreeding on their own and coming up with these new strains and different combinations of cannabinoids. We're figuring out more how to work with all this new information. I mean, it's an exciting time. It really is. I think one of the biggest challenges about writing a cookbook is that you're writing a cookbook. Honestly, there's a lot of moving parts to a book. I'm used to doing recipes for mass quantities. Now I have to break it down for the home cook. And I have firepower in the kitchen that you're not gonna have in the regular kitchen at home. So where it takes me 12 minutes to cook you a medium rare steak, it might take you 30 minutes. I have to slow down the process, which is not the way I work in the kitchen. So it's challenging in that sense. You have to be meticulous when it comes to measurements. There's no more, you know, tasting and saying, all right, it needs a pinch of salt. It's like, no. Well, how much is that pinch? Because, you know, my fingers are nice and meaty and yours might be dainty and delicate. So we need to measure exactly how much is going in. However, it's been a very interesting process. It's been a lot of fun. It has its challenging moments, but it has its payoff in the end. I get to share what I do here with somebody in Umbaba Mawau, right, that will probably never make it to New York, but they have access to the book. Do you want to be invited somewhere and then asked to cook? The answer is fuck no, okay? I do not want to go to a party and have to cook for the masses. I want to enjoy the party. I'm sure every chef out there will tell you the same thing. It's like, oh yeah, you know, come over. It's like, bring something. Or it's like, am I cooking this right? I went to this barbecue, really good friend of mine, and his mom was cooking, grilling meats, and she calls me over and she goes, am I doing it right? And very politely I said, you have two extremely beautiful children that are in their mid-30s. I think you've done a fantastic job. Yes, you are. You're cooking perfectly. I wish I looked like that. So no, we don't want to cook for people all the time. We do want to enjoy and be a part of it. Smell it? It's a Thai restaurant next door.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, they're charring some of their beef.
Okay.
That's the grilled pork chop.
Okay.
Put any money on it, it's a grilled pork chop.